A couple of months ago, I reviewed and did a little video on a couple of Citadel combat cards packs. These are packs almost like Top Trumps cards that Warhammer released in the early 90s. They still release them now, but these were like the first interpretation of them. And it was a lot of fun just to go through and cuss a load of the characters, just analyse them, look at their crazy names and the crazy characters with the weird features, and just think what was going through their heads when these guys designed them. And they're packs that I've had since I was a little kid. I've always had them, so I had a lot of nostalgic attachment to them. They did, however, release tons of packs, ones that I've never seen before. So thanks to my friend Robot Chubby, he has sent me the Monsters pack and the Goblinoids pack. I've never actually sifted through these cards. I've got no nostalgic attachment to them, so I don't know what I'm in for, but I thought I'd sit down, go through them, give them a little bit of a cuss and a review, and I'd be interested to know what you guys think as well. So I'm going to do 2 packs of cards at the same time this time. 2 at a time, baby. Let's see how we get on. Okay, let's do this shit. Again, shouts to Robot Chubby for sending me these cards. I thought I'd reviewed all the combat cards I were going to get through because they're just the packs that I had. But just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. So who shall I look at first? The Goblinoids pack or the Monsters pack? There's 35 cards in each one of these sets, so there's a lot to get through. I kind of feel like I'm going to enjoy the Monsters pack more than the Goblinoids pack, so I'll leave them till last. I'll do the Goblinoids first, go through these guys, see what this pack has to offer. A proper underwhelming first character, Boggle Dungbreath, a Snotling champion. So Snotlings are like the lowest rank of creature amongst the green skins, amongst the orcs and the goblins, second only to Squigs, which is a creature that they just use as cannon fodder and eat them and stuff like that. But at least this Snotling is a champion. At least he's a champion amongst his own people. Check this guy, Zuggo Pegleg. I love the arrows shot through the shield that's on his back. He's got the eye patch, he's got the peg leg. This guy's seen some shit. A lot of it through one eye by the look of things. Gublub Manhammer, coming through with the most masculine name ever. And by the looks of things, he's had both his fists fused into giant clumps of metal. From that moment on, he couldn't eat his own food, he couldn't open doors, he lived only to turn heads into mincemeat. Grubod Skullcracker, check this guy, this is what I'm talking about. Orc Warlord, a high up ranking member of the Goblinoid army. He's got the eye patch, check his sword, it's like a big fucking meat cleaver. Orcs have the gnarliest blades. I love his shield with the face painted on it. He's got a deformed tooth that's grown dodgy and is protruding at the bottom of his jaw. His nose is all fucked up. This guy is pure carnage. This is what being an orc is all about. A Ruglid Longface, another orc champion. This guy's also got a gnarly shield with the sick painting on it. Check that mace with the hook blade sticking out the end. He's rocking the Wendigo horns. My G! Rugdod Grin Killer. Check that name. This guy must hate to see people grin. He can't stand happiness. If he sees you smiling, he's gonna do the opposite of turn that frown upside down. I love his sword, if you can even call it a sword. And check that shield. Looks like a fucking mad bull. Brogtong Manheart. This guy's rocking the Scimitar. One of the funny things about orcs is that there's no consistency amongst their armor and shit like that. A lot of them just have different various blades that they've forged themselves or robbed from other armies. Prime example, this guy, Nagrat Head Splitter, looks like he killed an Indian chief and took his headdress, rocking a shield with the buffalo horns on the skull with a spear. Garbag Eyebiter, wearing another orc skin as a fucking hoodie. Norbrun Darkfist, he's just a pretty generic orc right there. Droglag Mankiller, Savage Orc Warrior, this guy's rocking the Mohawk. One-Eyed Zax, another standard Orc Warrior. Rutlog Skullfang, Orc Warrior. Rutlig Sleen Ripper, Orc Warrior. Gark Legbiter, Goblin Champion. Glug Nose Ripper, Brog Eye Gouge, Goblin Champion. Ulg Bone Chewer, Goblin Chieftain. So I know a minute ago I just said that there's no consistency in the armor and the weapons that these guys use, but other than that, they're all pretty much the same fucking guy. Other than the odd little bit of variation with like the Orc Warlord and stuff like that, they're all very fucking similar. It's like, yo, there's a million of us just like me. And there's a million other orcs like me that dress like me, with a shield and a sword like me, with big teeth, green skin, and that are bold like me. They're all the same dude. Now, I get it, this is a goblins pack, so everything in here is going to be a goblin. And if this was an elves pack or a squats or dwarfs pack, it would be probably the same deal. I'm just so used to looking at the other ones, the Chaos Combat cards and the Space War cards, where you never knew which character were going to be underneath the next one. There was such variation in there. And when it comes to these combat cards, I guess I like a bit more diversity. See, this is what I'm talking about. Check this guy. He's bad boy. Ugluk Handbiter, Orc Tribal Chief. Check his weapon. He's got the Morning Star. Imagine getting hit with that shit. Good morning. Whoosh. Good night. Gruk the Loon, Goblin Fanatic. So he's like a fan. Goblins have like fanboys, and they've got him doing mug work with his little peasant hood, trying to load a cannon, and he's too little to even lift the ball up, but he don't want to let his heroes down, so he's still trying. Oh, I feel sorry for this guy. And then maybe this is what happens when you're a goblin fanatic and you fuck your job up and don't do it properly. You get turned into the war drum of Zakash Bragwit. This guy's got a drum made from stretched out goblin skin that he hits with a bone and a lump hammer, keeping them battlefield vibes certified with a nice drum rhythm. Oh, what's this guy saying? Gosh, Rip Giblet, Goblin Wolf Rider. This guy rides a wolf into battle. Warhammer has some awesome steeds. This obviously seems like it's influenced by Lord of the Rings with the Warg Riders, but it's very fitting. I love how big some of the goblins' faces are. His face is almost as big as his fucking torso. He's rocking the mace, and check that speed 11. Definitely the fastest character I've seen in this whole pack yet. Dungbrat Spikeblade, Goblin Warrior. Check this horrible little prick. He looks like one of the youngers that the big man would get to go around chefing people. And look at that horrible little knife he's got. Check the hook serrated edge at the tip. That's a blade that's designed to go in a lot easier than it is designed to come out. So that's it for the Goblinoids pack, and if I'm going to be totally honest, I do feel like this pack is definitely lacking in terms of variety. Obviously, I'm not trying to take anything away from how cool these things are sculpted or painted or anything like that. I just think in terms of actual character, once you've seen 10 of these, you've kind of seen all of them. I know that each deck has to be seen on like its own merit, and also this is a game like Top Trumps, but I'm looking at them as individual character cards. And if you compare this to something like the Space War pack or the Chaos Combat cards, or I'm hoping like the Monsters pack, this one was very samey. So overall, really cool pack, but nothing compared to the other packs that I've looked at. Let's see what the monsters have got to offer. Oh, straight in with a Bloodthirster, a Greater Demon of Khorn. It says Servant of Khorn, but this is a Greater Demon of Khorn. It's the ultimate embodiment of the God of Khorn. A god whose whole philosophy is blood and rage, and if you're into old Warhammer, you can probably notice that this thing's also almost identical to the Gargoyle from Hero Quest, another dope figure. The Great Unclean One, Servant of Nurgle, another Greater Demon, my personal favourite of all the Chaos Gods. And Nurgle's whole thing is zombies and decay and bloated pustules and maggots and all that dope shit. I love this guy. This is definitely one of the first interpretations, maybe even the first ever one, and check how fucking cool that thing is. This is another one that's had so many different newer versions made since, but you can't knock the OG version. I love this guy. Okay, so now we've got the Keeper of Secrets. Maybe we're going to get all 4 of the main Chaos Greater Demons straight up in this pack. This guy's a Servant of Slanesh. And as a kid, this figure always freaked me out. I ended up selling it. I loved Minotaurs, but its titty out used to make me feel a bit weird. These things are all about bondage. They're a little bit Cenobite, a little bit fetish. Not really my vibe. And it's probably hard to say which is the most scary Greater Demon to go against on the battlefield, but when you've got this guy in his high-heeled boots with 4 arms and his titty out pointing at you like, I want you, I think this is the guy that I would least like to come into contact with. He looks like he's going to do some horrible shit to you. Also, if we're comparing this to the Goblins pack, look at those stats. Look at the difference in how powerful these guys are to the little Goblinoids. And as suspected, we've got the 4th Greater Demon straight away in the pack. This is the Lord of Change, the Servant of Tzeentch. And Tzeentch are all about evil wisdom and magic and mystical shit. And this guy looks like a mix between a giant eagle and a vulture. Definitely wouldn't be seen out of place in any classic Ray Harryhausen movie. Serpentine Dragon. So this guy's so big he takes up most of the card. They had to put the stats along the top of it. And I don't know about you, but when I think of dragons, I think of fire breathing. I don't think of front push kicks. But I rate it. It's like thinking outside the box. Not all dragons have to be there posed ready to breathe fire. Some just want to volley orcs across the battlefield. I rate this guy. Horned dragon. A lot more of a classic looking and posed dragon on this card. I like his long snout, looks very traditional for a fantasy dragon. And when I think of classic Warhammer dragons, this is the style that I think of personally. Lava dragon. Another one of them creatures that takes up half the card and they have to get creative with where they put the stats. He's a lava dragon, so it's as if he was forged in the fires of a volcano. And I like how his body coils round like a big serpent. Fucking dope. The hill troll. He looks like he's just trying to chill on his hill. And then people come bother him, so he throws rocks at them. Like, don't come and interfere with my day and I won't have to turn you into a fucking bowling pin. We got the marsh troll. This one looks like he's more adapted to the marshland. His ears look a little bit more aquatic. We've got the warrior troll. This troll looks like he chose a less peaceful way of life than the hill troll and the marsh troll. This guy likes to swing it out. Weapon of choice, the large tree. Krovax, Minotaur champion. Check this guy, he's fucking dope. I love his weapon loadout. The meat cleaver, the brass knuckles, and I love Minotaurs. Ever since I first saw one in the Time Bandits, which is not actually a real Minotaur, but you know what I mean. Also the Minotaur from the Ray Harryhausen movie, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I could do a whole episode on how much I love Minotaurs. Like this guy, Grimox, Minotaur Lord. The Minotaur that's on the front cover of the pack. 50% bull, 50% man, 100% G. Check him, he's got the goblin head on his waist like a little trophy. He's got the club with the nails stuck in it. There's so many cool Minotaurs in Warhammer, and this guy's a prime example of that. Kryax, another Minotaur Lord. Check this fucking guy, he's got 3 nipples. One of them's pierced. He likes his studs and his leather. This guy looks like he won't be seen out of place in the Blue Oyster Bar. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ha ha! I also love that his sword is like a giant squared off clump of steel. I don't know if they cut that off because it didn't want it to interfere with the text at the top, but that looks fucking brutal, that blade. Ooh, check this guy, Ulthax the Minotaur. Look how he's stood, he looks like he's saying, oh no you didn't. This guy's got a little bit of sass in his step. My G, sashay away. Gerthod, Ogre Champion. What's this guy saying? Looks like he's done a little bit of travelling. Check his helmet, looks a little bit Mongol. He's got the mace. He also likes the brass knuckle loadout. And if you look at his stance, he's putting his weight on his back leg. Classic Muay Thai. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Check this guy. What do you get when your mum's a dragon and your dad is an ogre? You get Gorax the Dragon Ogre. This dude's almost like a centaur. I could see this guy in Mortal Kombat. Gutlag, Ogre Shaman. This guy looks horrible. Check him throwing up the 2 fingers like Billy Casper on the cover of Kess. Rat Ogre, Skaven Mutant. The first Skaven in the whole pack. Skaven are a race from Warhammer that all look like rat people. And usually they're pretty small and nimble. But this looks like a big giant Apex version. He's got a tattered up chest. He's hench. He looks ready to do damage. Ooh, we got a griffin, another classic mythical creature. What do you get when you get the body of a lion with wings on its back and the head of an eagle? You get a griffin. And a griffin is one of those creatures like a Medusa or a Manticore or a dragon. It's kind of like public domain. Anybody can use it, which is why you find griffins in stuff like Harry Potter all the way to Monster in My Pocket. The griffin's just one of those creatures that no matter what way you design it, no matter which way you spin it, it always looks awesome and it's always a perfect addition into any fantasy lore. Red Dragon, another dragon in the pack. Only this one looks less interested in breathing fire and fighting and more interested in trying to squeeze that big fucking zit on his stomach. Oh, what was I just saying? Manticore. Hold tight the Manticore. I love this creature. It's got the body of a lion with dragon wings on its back, a scorpion tail, and then the fucking head of a human. The head of a man. Looks hella fucking weird and that's why I think it's dope. Again, it's one of them creatures that nobody actually owns the official rights to, so it pops up in all different fantasy lore, and obviously Warhammer have got several dope versions of their own Manticore. I fucking love Manticores. Oh no way, we've got a Chimera. So if you don't know about Chimeras, they're crazy. They're a mismatch of different creatures like fused together, but not like a griffin or a manticore where it all looks pretty unified. These are just a crazy mismatch mix-up. So this has got the head of a dragon, the head of a goat, and then what looks like the head of a Jabberwocky. It's got eagle wings on its back. This is a creature that can be just created in so many different ways. I fucking love Chimeras. I'm so glad there's a Chimera in this pack. Oh, we got an amble! Yes, I know about the amble. These are fucking dope. Recently, Warhammer re-released a new version of the amble. It's like a big insect creature. They also did a limited edition mecha version. They were fucking awesome. So this is like the original Rogue Trader amble. Check that shit. It's like a big space alien insect creature. This thing is so fucking Warhammer. I love that design. I would love an original amble. I need one. Zolt, Forest Guardian, what's this guy saying? He looks like a mix between a centaur and a dinosaur. This guy looks He'd make an awesome monster in my pocket. Yo, I need to get a couple of these old miniatures. I need a Zolt, and I need a Manticore, and I need a Minotaur. There's so many, and I need an Amble. There's so many creatures in this pack that I want. Six-headed Hydra, so we got a Hydra in the pack. You know about the Hydra, probably one of the most famous Greek mythological creatures of them all, up there with the Medusa and the Kraken. You know its power, you cut its head off and two sprout from the severed stump. Hold tight Ray Harryhausen, hold tight Jason and the Argonauts. That's my personal favourite rendition of a Hydra, and probably many other people's, and it's dope to find one in this pack as well. Oh, we got a Plague Bearer, Servant of Nurgle, bringing it a bit more small scale from the Grand Titan monsters that we've been looking at. You get these scattered throughout Nurgle and Death Guard armies. They're fucking awesome, often surrounding greater demons of Nurgle. I painted a few of these new ones recently. They're a certified fucking creature from Warhammer. I know I keep saying that certified, but these really are. They usually always have a horn coming out the top of the head. You get a lot of Cyclops ones, and they've always got the bodies falling to pieces with the guts hanging out and exposed flesh and bone, always rotting. And check his weapon. It's a sword that's shaped like one of those spikes they used to split logs in half. No way, we got a pink horror. I love these things. I've never painted one, but I'd proper like to. I love how their body is just a giant face with arms coming out the side of it and legs at the bottom. It reminds me of some kind of like fucking boggling. These are part of the Zinch army. A demon of Zinch. Not so much these days, but especially back then. I suppose a bit with the squibs and some of the orcs lore and stuff like that, but back then, a lot of the demons and monsters, they had a bit more of a comedic flair to them, and these guys are a prime example of that. I love this guy. I want to draw a pink horror now after I finish this video. I'm going to draw this guy. Oh, no way. So the last creature in this pack is the Balrog. This is the creature that almost did Gandalf. Gandalf became Gandalf the White because of this thing. Now, bear in mind, this is not actually an official Lord of the Rings released Balrog or anything like that at that point. This is called a Balgorg. It's not even called a Balrog, but it's obviously based on that. And this is also 20 years before the Peter Jackson movie where we saw that Balrog. This is a lot more like the Ralph Bakshi animated version of the Balrog. It's a lot less composed of smoke and fire than the one that we know from the movie. But I love how he's got a sword and he's got the whip and he stands there like some big hulking beast man. Fucking awesome. What an awesome card to end the pack on. So there you have it, that's both the Goblinoids and the Monsters Citadel combat cards completely gone through. As you can probably tell, the Monsters pack was obviously my favourite. I know I were firing shots at the Goblinoids pack, but obviously I've still got love for it. These things are so old school and so retro now, it's fun just looking back, which obviously this channel is all about. It was also interesting looking at packs of cards that were all completely Warhammer Fantasy. It's known as Age of Sigmar nowadays, I believe, but back then it was just Warhammer Fantasy. So it's swords, it's shields, it's bow and arrows, it's crossbows, whereas all the future Warhammer 40k stuff like the Space War and the Chaos Combat cards pack, a lot of them were guys with chainswords and pistols and rifles and that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see the contrast. Overall, a lot of fun looking through these two packs. I love going back and looking at old school, retro, Rogue Trader era, Golden Age Warhammer. And as I've mentioned so many times, I also looked at the Chaos Combat cards and the Space War pack from this set. So if you haven't already, go back and check out those videos too, because we also had a lot of fun looking through them cards as well. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know in the comments who was your favourite character out of these packs, and is there anything like this that you'd like to see me review in the future? Doing these kind of videos are a lot more low-key and a lot more chill compared to my normal videos, so it's a lot easier for me to do them. So if there's something random that you'd like to see me analyse and go through, then please let me know in the comments below, whether it be a pack of cards or an old book or an old magazine, anything, just let me know and I'll try and get hold of it if I haven't got it already. I also want to say a massive thanks to Robot Chubby, again one of my favourite YouTube channels. He doesn't release videos very often, but when he does, boy better know it's something fucking awesome. He's also on Instagram, so I'll put his handle below and you can also check him out there. In the meantime, I'm Theo Kane. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, I'm gone. Pow!